You hungry? You hungry? Yeah. Well, why didn't you say you were hungry? You should have said, I'm a hungry. Oh, somebody's got a squeaky chair. Need to put some oil on that thing. What do you think, Kiwi? Here we go. We got some action going on. Welcome, people, to Miners Madness. And, I'm just gonna start calling Miners Madness instead of like what season or episode because I'll obviously forget. So real quick, of course, this is all my opinions and thoughts, as everybody else's is reverberating their opinions and thoughts. In the title, it is education or indoctrination in God, and for me, God means more than one thing. Um, for mankind on a whole, I believe that they have quantified what God possibly could be so that they have some way, shape, or forms or means to control that which is quantified. Can't explain the unquantifiable. Where, in essence, that's where God for me comes in is, if I'm not mistaken, it's like Hebrew term for either God or the universe or cosmos is the total sum of all energy. Uh, for me, that's another name for creation, uh, Mother Nature, call it what you will. But to me, that's what I have learned through um, my research that I have done personally in my own journey through depression. And the reason why I bring this up is because the word God also can mean hope. Um, hope in creating something uh, that will uh, affect people, things, animals, plants, the universe around you. When Forrest had mentioned that heaven is too far, or heaven's not far, but it's too far to walk. In his mind, I believe that was to represent his memories as his heaven. That's where he's going to go, into his memories. I like movies, and so one of the movies that I like is The Kingdom of Heaven. And there's a saying in there that what kind of man, what kind of man makes this world a better place? And so with the whole word jabbling going on in this madness of mine, um, it's what as I can do as a person to make this world better than the next, than heaven that is supposedly on the other side of death. And so the meaning of God and hope and change and creation, I'm hoping that I get a clue because I don't have one. But there's at the very least the clue that I can offer that I have offered is how have I figured out if God existed for me or not? And the equation I come up with is that God or the cosmos or the creation or the total sum of all energy is true and equal to that of a living thing or non-living thing, mechanical, immechanical, you as a person. And that is plus or minus by that object's intellection, uh, their evolution in their knowledge and their communication. And that happens by multiplying the a person's senses, and the elements that are around them. I mean, you have the five elements: air, earth, fire, and water. But then you have yourself to interpret those elements and anything derived from those elements. That universe that is around you. Um, your six senses, the experiences that a person experiences on the outside of their body. I would almost think like 80 to 90% of your total experience is from your visual perspective of the world around you, because you have eating and that stuff is, you know, one of your, you know, you're tasting things, what things taste, but you're only tasting the things that are around you in your close vicinity. You're hearing things that are around you within a little further closer vicinity. And then, you know, smell, again, that's close vicinity. So all your senses are really depending on what you learn from your core to those experiences outside you, what you're eating, you know, what water feels like, whether it's hot or cold, um, when you're seeing the light on or off. These are all kinds of experiences that your mind is interpreting from the universe around you, from everything, its vibrational frequency around you. So it's just, for me, it's your emotions help bring those together so that all those elements, you, and the senses that you're experiencing in your mind is one, and one is equal to the other, and the other can exist without your existence, or one's existence, but it's still there. Whether, because if you think about this, if you were never born, how would you know anything about anything? And the question is, you wouldn't. It doesn't mean that something else still doesn't exist. So I think in your own existence, you would at least have to agree that something that controls all energy, even the energy that is you, is the one and the same, you know, the great creation, or God. But that, like I said, this is all my perspective, you know, how I've learned to grow and view the world around me, you know, with its the potential. You know, people say things are impossible because they haven't imagined the impossible, to try to make the impossible become possible. Again, so this is the reason why, for me, I bring this up, is because it gives me hope that maybe I'm right, and whether I'm right or wrong, nonetheless, in my universe, I'm right. And I say this because we're here in life now. You know, I have Kiwi here, my wife's at work, my kids, they're all living off doing their own thing. Nobody calls and talks. It's like, okay, well, I'm here, I'm existing. And you know, sometimes people get to points of where they feel that there's nobody else around, which isn't the case. And so it draws on people's mental health. And if you don't fill those negative voids with positive things, then they're just going to get bigger and deeper. And so, at the very least, if you yourself get to points where you're having some type of mental health problem or issue or concern, or you might know somebody, at least dial or pass on the number 988. And that's to help. That's a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and that's just to help others raise awareness for what exists. So whether God exists or not, another person's mental health exists, whether we see it or not. whether we can interpret what that person is going through internal, which we will never be able to do. But they do show signs on the outside because, you know, as above, so below, you know, heaven and earth, that what a person thinks will come out. Their reflections. And I think kids are also one of the most valued treasures. And that's part of like with Kiwi is been training her and learning how to work with her. Apparently there was another um, shooting in a school, and it involved a 6-year-old kid. And it makes you wonder what was going through that child's mind, you know, mentally. Did that child's reflection come from his peers in school and what's been trickled down in the education system, in my opinion, from going more from education and learning about things into more indoctrination on what things are and not questioning what the possibilities are of the impossible. And so, you know, with all that negative stuff that goes in this world with the positive, it trickling down, it makes you wonder what was going through that young person's mind. And it goes for just anybody in general, and it's hard to see that, you know, mental health is an issue that, you know, shouldn't be taken lightly, or to sit there and say somebody else has, you know, bullied somebody into committing suicide, or saying somebody has committed suicide, whether they have or not. I mean, those are real things, and those are deep things that impact people, whether you realize it or not. And so, I mean, the societal change, I guess, in how kids are being taught and what they're being taught is it, it makes you wonder at what point they started going away from the tribalism of learning as a unit, learning as a family and your neighbors on how to do things, how to defend yourselves, how to feed yourselves, how to make sure everything's taken care of, into more of a campus learning environment where people are out and away from their core structure that's supposed to be their learning structure as well, but being taught something else that you're unaware of. And it's how them adult things have trickled down. I mean, it's disturbing to see our society kind of drifting in such a um, very profound line of what one would almost consider right and one consider wrong, as a mass majority, you know, or a consensus. Because everybody has their opinions and everybody's right or wrong, and whether they're wrong or right, they're still right to be wrong. Um, Hi, people. Thank you for coming and visiting. Really appreciate it. I love your guys' show. Um, I mean, and to go along with, I mean, even talking about like UAPs or UFOs. I mean, in a sense, that's going against what was quantified as well. Did God create those things or not? When you're quantifying something that is total, so you can't quantify it total because it's it all. So I would think that in the education and indoctrination, they're leaving things out and not teaching things that help expand um, one's perception of the world around them. Um, to think that humans as a society in whole, or just humans, have evolved within a short period of time of less than 100,000 years to become so smart, uh, but within, like, say, the last 100 years, the advancement has almost skyrocketed. That same time has already happened a long, long time ago in other galaxies, in universes, and star systems away. And if they're just barely peaking like way back when, just imagine where they're at, where we're at now. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that. Um, well, it's not ridiculous. For me, it's ridiculous for me to think that the possibility of something being smarter and more advanced and more non-formative as, just energies of light or plasma that are floating around, it's just, yeah, I would have to go with what I've been learning versus what I've been kind of taught to learn. There's a different slope at which things, if a person's willing to open a book, watch a YouTube video, listen to somebody else just talking, it's just amazing the history that almost you want to say keeps trying to get stifled and erased so that it could be recreated, but recreated in the wrong way, I guess. At least in my point of view. Oh, she's always like so. Part of the learning process of uh, dealing with depression is that's for me. That's one of my negative voids is depression. Um, and to fill that negative void, ta-da! Here's Kiwi. Kiwi's here to help me fill that negative void with something better. You know, um, I hope people who have some type of mental health that's able to obtain some kind of pet that they can bond with. Oh yeah, there you go. Good job. Yeah. So you want potty. See, sign language for potty is a couple shapes like that. And we tell her potty. Her toilet's over there on the couch. So this works just as fine. In case she ever gets ornery. If she gets ornery, you gonna get ornery? You wanna saddle up? Wanna saddle up? Huh? Yeah? Yeah, you wanna saddle come saddle up. Come on. Geronimo. Geronimo, come on. Yeah, you saddle up, Geronimo. Or you go this side here. Yeah, there you go. We got the, the fun rag. But we digress a lot. And so that's one of the reasons about Miner's Madness is everybody has a thought and everybody's got a perspective on life. And one of the ways to learn it besides watching or reading books, watching movies and TV and reading what we read is by connecting mentally the different perspectives of everybody around us and get a bigger, grander picture of what's out there. I mean, everybody's everybody has atoms in there, and their atoms are just that energy that's there. The same with all that energy that's in everything around us. I mean, like so part of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is what I was working on I was gonna work on it today. I'm just I got that much to continue, but I just was watching that news about that young kid and it was just crazy. But digression, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs, part of the top uh, cornerstones is that self actualization, and then beyond that, transcendence. Your transcendence beyond the knowledge that you think you've learned, which that's gonna be one crazy adventure ride, I think. Um, and I think it's worth. One of the things Forrest said is, "I wish I could have done the things that I was attributed to." And if I feel so 1,000% on a belief of mine that I've learned over time, then why should I have to fight myself and build up a wall and not share at least something that may help somebody else out, you know? Because at the very least, somebody could look at that equation of mine and be like, well, you know, we could tweak it a little bit here or do this or that or add this and that in there. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. And just, yeah, yeah, I mean, just the thought of hope that things, you know, that a person can see their life in a different perspective and control the things that they do, control their environment around them, and be able to create that heaven here and now, so that the youth of our nation and the world just would hopefully get themselves on the right track. Because if you stray too much on a razor blade, eventually you're going to get cut. And you don't want to get cut in the wrong spot, if you know what I mean. And I'm sorry I haven't like really been paying attention to chat, which I will. I'm gonna read some chat right here because I mean I could show this up. Oh, what's happening? Waiting for people to make comments on what? Oh, for this. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see if we can get focused. Focus. Hey, oh, focus better. There we go. That's at 1880. Oh my Lanta. I'm shaking like a washing machine. Come on, get it together. Anyway, 1880, $5 gold piece that somebody eventually along the far down line as the track is going, because not too many people are making comments on that video, and I don't know if people are even sharing it. But it'll be interesting to see who wins, though, because I'll be excited to send that out to them. And so part of my goal with this minor madness is, as I'm working on, like I said, this. So this is this is Beyond the Chase, the YouTube version. I'm writing a book which is Beyond the Thrill of the Chase, and apparently, you know, this equation of mine will be in that book. You know, how I came to learn my perspective of who or what the existence of a great creator is, along with these different useful tools that I've learned to use into my life and to look at it from a different perspective, like meditation labyrinths, the tree of life, people's chakras, you know, just energy that is, you know, always vibrating in just different wavelengths and tones and frequencies that, you know, because you can't hear it doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, literally, the things you're seeing are different wavelengths of light that are still sound. That's a vibration that's being created. You can't hear it, but you can see it. It makes you wonder what other things beyond is way capable. So, again, aliens, UFOs, visitors from another planet. I think they've been here, are here, and they'll continue to come here, because we'll probably end up doing the same thing to go forward in our humanities adventure and see how far out we can stretch. I think it'll be interesting. Anyway, let's read some chat here because I'm winded. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not winded. I just don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I have a piece of paper here because my cornerstone ain't quite written down, and so I had to write a few notes just to keep me on track. Because who knows if people even, well, I guess it wouldn't matter if people even wanted to hear what I had to say or not, because apparently they do, or they wouldn't be here, right? Huh, Kiwi? Either that or they're just coming to see you. And if that's the case, that's all right, because you're so precious, aren't you? Yeah, you my precious, huh? I didn't say groom the precious. So I say groom the precious, all of a sudden she starts eating my eyeball out. Yeah, go figure. That way I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Anyway, Jay, thanks for coming in. Mon. So I still don't understand how to pronounce that Mon 618. It's almost like they ate something, and it makes you wonder what they ate. Because if it's good, then it might make me hungry and want to cook something up like that. And oh yeah, I saw the Kiwi's fluffy one. Company depression process, which means external process should have no effect. Depression is an internal process, which means external processes should have no effect. So I would have to say with that, people believe the external is the cause of internal issues, and that's I would I would almost say you have both going hand in hand. I mean, can I agree with both? Because I would think, and so I'm going to point it to you this way, and so when people were robbed when I did the other day's show from the garage, which I ordered like 300 feet cat 6 line so I can run from the Wi-Fi directly out to the shed. Wife don't know about it, but that's okay until she comes home and trips over the line. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But through my experience of learning with Kiwi, and this is where a lot of this comes from. So I'm going to step away, but I'm going to kind of answer, I think, a little bit of that internal and external experiences, whether they affect or disaffect. And so I come up with this portion right here. And in a person's past, present, or future, their birth and or their death. Now you can switch this around. In their birth and their death, they are only equated to what is internal and very little external around it. That's where your senses come in and start to change. And that's blank unless you start learning the external things. And when you start learning those external things are now imprinted internally. So trees are trees, bushes are bushes. A good person in your life can reflect a bad situation in yourself. And I think it's more so of what your environment or the experiences you're having around yourself that truly have more of an impact, because I think humans are the most influential on the most impressionable things, which are humans. I mean, because the tree's not going to sit there and come by and slap you around just because you mouthed off the tree. I mean, a human is. I mean, you mouth off a tiger definitely going to come up and slap you around. You know what I mean? Give you a few claw marks. But I think those experiences are transferred, between, you know, different vibrations or frequencies inside a person, and they create, the inside of you from the outside around you. You know what I mean? If there was no daddy, and it's sad that there's a lot of fathers and some mothers that are not there. I mean, the burden of experiences now becomes with the mother. And if you cut those out, a majority of your experiences now just become what you're learning around yourself, if you can find food, if you can find water. And so going beyond that, you come up to all the education, growing up, this, that, perspectives on lives here, there, and it really forms the person inside to reflect on the outside, a reflection of their overall experiences. But that's just my perspective to kind of, um, go along with what you were saying about depression is an internal process, which means external processes should have no effect, because if you change the negative external processes and turn them into positive processes, then those internal rewirings from negative to positive I would hope, continue to change in that direction and stay more positive. Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely. I Kiwi will eat an apple. You like apples? You hungry? When you say I'm hungry? But I did want to mention the next drawing though is for one of those trinkets, which is uh that 1935 one penny and that or that mother of pearl silver. It looks like silver banded. I could be wrong. And most of the times I am wrong. That's why I gotta look stuff up. And then that stone that's got a chip on it on this edge right here. It's got a chip. But who doesn't like a chip, Joe? I mean, you can. I mean, give yourself an eye or something. I don't know. I'd let Kiwi chew on it, but she'll probably break it down even more. Huh? What? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, you learn about your animals doing stupid things. Almost lost her. But I'll save that for a different time, a different story. Then I understand people aren't getting notified if I'm going live or not. And if somebody knows how I can make that easier or whatever, just let me know. Either that, hit the notification bell so that it notifies you, because these are just my thoughts as a person and a reflection of my thoughts on people I meet in the chase and on the internet, on YouTube, and just the things that they have to share. I love learning all kinds of things. You can't learn enough. That is for sure a fact. Because even when you're done learning, you're beginning to learn something new. How we accept the external info coming in. That is true. I mean, but I would hope that, and here's the thing that I think. So out of those senses, your emotional sense, I think, is going to be your strongest sense. And when you're taking in good or bad situations, if it's making you emotionally positive, you're going to feel that reverberation. You're going to feel that positiveness. And eventually you're just going to start thinking it. And then hopefully you'll gravitate towards those positive external experiences that are starting to change how you feel and what you think, versus where you're at now in the negative state. I am not a psychiatrist, nor do I claim to be a psychiatrist, but my wife does work for drug and alcohol as an abuse counselor. So she's been practicing on me. Shh, don't tell nobody. I'm her guinea pig. Huh, Kiwi? Well, maybe it's just because I eat a lot of bacon. I don't know. Because I sure do love bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? Exactly, because I mean, I go around saying that there's only two opinions that matter to me, and that's what I think of myself and what God or the great creation thinks of me. If I'm doing the things that I should be doing in a way that people are enjoying it, then I would hope that the great creation would be positive and happy with who I've become. And it's because of the different people that I've met along the way, the people who share their stories. Their stories, I feel, to me, I feel that emotional. I can feel that empathy, and it changes a person's perspective on how they look at somebody else, versus just hearing somebody talk. I mean, I think there's a difference, and I think it's helped me become a better person. I hope, because I'm learning from somebody else's mistakes or the rewards that they have gotten, and it's like, well, I just need to apply that to myself so that I can start going in this direction versus going downstream still, Because sometimes if you want to get to a good place, you kind of got to go against the flow and do a little hard work. You know what I mean? It's easy to float on down easy street, but it's not so hard to be that greatness that you would think you can become, you know. That's right. It's not a homely girl. You see, this is my homely girl right here, huh? Kiwi, you homely? Say, I'm a homely girl. I'm a homely girl. Ow, my eyeballs! Stop, man. Come on. Nah, just kidding. She likes to clean my eyelashes. Yep. I don't know why, but now you guys get to see it. Look at this. I'm being eaten alive. This is like a zombie. I'm gonna get the zombie fungus, and like when she passes away, I'm gonna apply the zombie fungus to her, and if it works, then I'm definitely gonna wait until like one of my loved one passes away, and I'm gonna apply that zombie fungus to them, and then we're definitely gonna be having the Walking Dead zombie version of fungus. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just saying, because if it's think about it, and it's interesting because you sit there and you watch all these zombie movies. It's like, well, how's that making it even work and happen? But to sit there and have a parasite as a fungus on a decomposing insect and still have that insect with like half of its body gone and just still walking around, spreading its spores around, why can't it happen to humans? And why somebody hasn't done it yet? You wait, just like movies and books. And I say, if it's something that hasn't been done, somebody will do it. And if somebody's done it, somebody's gonna write about it. Make a movie about it or write a book about it to document you know what happened. And so, I mean, that kind of brings up this whole miner's madness of writing in this journal and writing this book is to leave my legacy of my thoughts, because my thoughts are me. And if there's something here that my kids or my wife or friends or whoever can kind of get an idea of what really helped me change my mental perspective from a negative to a positive, then it behooves me to share that information. I mean, I would think that's what everybody would be inclined to do is share the positive things that help make other people grow if they need to. And if maybe there's nothing wrong with hearing something twice. Maybe you already know all this stuff and you've already researched it to death and you know all the answers. I don't, and I'm still looking. That's the thrill of the chase, is trying to find out is what's my truth in God for me, and what's my truth in my meaning of life, which is part of the purpose is to let this world experience who I am. These are, I think, things that if people looked at their life in a different way, they would maybe start writing their life story down in just small bits and pieces, because it does matter. I mean, whether you know it or not. I mean, everybody that sat there and at least made a comment here, you have made your existence known that way. You know what I mean? You may have your own YouTube channel, you may not. You may do Facebook all the time, you may not. But when people respond to other people's stuff, they're sending out their thoughts and their wavelengths of who they are. You know, and I think if more people did it positively versus the negatively, then they would draw more people towards them versus making them fly away. Bees and honey, or vinegar and flies, whatever kind of combination you want to make up. So check it out. So I'm not a professional rock herder. Oh, I am a professional rock herder, because I'm definitely not a professional gold miner. That's for sure. Um, Speaking of gold, there's those gold $1 that I gotta mail out to a couple of them winners, Greg Wendell and Suzanne Watkins. They're probably not watching, but if you ever do hop on and watch, still need to get a hold of you so I can get your address and whatnot so I can ship these out to you. And yeah, I just hope to kind of share my thoughts that people, may or may not learn something. I would hope that they would, because I hope they share their thoughts so that I can learn something. And absolutely, positive advice does come from the negative of life. I mean, and that's one of the things that I like to try to do is, if there's a negative situation, there's got to be something positive out of there, because in the yin yang, the balance is you as the person, who you are. And if you're able to understand that, then you should be able to hopefully spot more positives, know what to do, how to handle it, and get from the negative to a positive, because it all goes hand in hand. I mean, good, evil, right, wrong. I mean, water and oil, they all go hand in hand. They're all still flowing around, you know. It's learning how to use them to your advantage. There's a lot of smart people out there, especially in the YouTube that I've been watching. All are smart peoples. Don't let a fish tell you otherwise. Because you got to be fishers of men. No, fishers of peoples. Oh, just fisher. Just fishing. Just go fishing. Don't even go fishing. Just walk around, talk around. Who cares? Just do some. Hey, Tim, how's it going? And sometimes a negative approach results in a positive action. That is very true. Again, hand in hand. I mean, if you have a negative situation going on and you need to change that negative into a positive, you might have to apply that negative reinforcement to change that negative into a positive. I absolutely agree with that. Or you can try positive too. I mean, they work can work, and if they don't work, then you'll figure out how to make it work. And then this kind of goes along with what I was, in a sense, trying to say in chat like a few days ago on somebody else's channel, is that they've kind of taken away, and I'm not saying they have the majority, it's just a perspective that I've seen, is they've taken away the that parental security, control, and leadership away from parents, and given it more towards the child and the education system, and I also want to say into the government system, that they're trying to keep breaking families apart versus trying to get them together and work through the situations that would make a more conductive living environment. I mean, the kids are acting negatively because something negatively, happening, and you would hope to try to change that in a positive way, and to negatively impact by separating. I mean, in some cases you need to, but all the time it's just crazy. It's like they're trying to tear everybody apart so they can control more individuals, because an individual isn't as strong as a united nation or a united tribe. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys do. Kiwi people are saying hellos. They're giving you the peace signs. They're clapping at you, say hello. Say hello. So, like, when I go inside and outside, like, because Kiwi will sit on a perch, and not that any of you guys care, I'll be like, hello, pretty bird. Because pretty bird, or bird is this for chirp, like a bird. And, like, hello. And did we look up pretty? I'm not sure if we looked up pretty. Oh, she wants the Geronimo. So we're practicing Geronimo so that she can learn to see the process right there. You guys are watching. That's part of this Miner's Madness too. Some people wanted to see. Somebody mentioned about watching, more work with Kiwi, and that whiteboard right there that I had showed you with the the square box. Your birth into the world, trying to experience everything, or even your death into the world, trying to experience the new energy that's around you. That board is Kiwi's training board, and when I was showing it in the garage, it didn't seem like it came through very well at all. Which is, I apologize to people, but hey, this is the universe we live in. You can't have perfect all the time. Unless you got me. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but I know I do got some almost perfect people I know. Almost perfect people. Oh, let's see. Let's go. Let's go back to the chats and yip yap for a minute more, in case people are interested. Unless anybody wants to see, we can do one for if anybody wants to look at more of Kiwi's training board. Just hit one. If people want to look more at the gold coins or that gold coin, $5 gold coin, one of them trinkets, just hit 2. Comments, we'll hit 3. If you want me to end it, just say, man, I'm outie. Peace. Tuck to deuce. You know what I mean? Whatever, it don't matter. Because I'll still be yammering on anyway, creating this universe, reverberating it. Because that's what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys are reverberating who you are. Sometimes the results. Howdy, folks. That's from Tim. Hi. Kiwi loves James. Well, I hope she loves me. Huh? Do you love me? Do you love Daddy? Do you love Daddy? Say, I love you. Oh, no. She loves to eat me. Come on, she's chewing on me. Ah! She's getting her vitamin. And it is about knowing oneself. So it is about knowing oneself, and I say that because in 2019, almost through the Christmas year prior, a little after Christmas or something like that, right before New Year's, ended up going into the hospital. Met somebody there. Got out of the hospital. Somehow got in touch with that guy. Now either that person got a hold of me or I got a hold of them. And I can't remember. I'll have to look it back up. But I ended up going over to his place, and for lack of better words, and to keep a story short and straight, I guess pretty much I went over to another person's house who ended up, in my perception, becoming slightly suicidal or suicidal by cop. And now I felt like I was trapped, in a sense. And so in this 3 days to sunrise, I had to sit there and know that this person who's a combat veteran, who knows what they're doing, playing with their firearm. Even one point, at one point, pointing it in my direction, where it's like, excuse me, to just having that feeling of, that this situation can go 9 ways wrong to Sunday and right in only one direction. I had to seriously think, as I mean, literally barely sleeping with like one eye open, just because I know that this man in the bed behind me has a firearm and is not seeming like they're themselves completely at all. And I had to ask myself and question, what would life be like if I did not exist? That non-existent question, And I, pondered, thought, and it's like, one of the things is, does my wife know that I love them enough? Do my kids know I love them enough? Did I do enough of the right things at the right time to make every moment count for the best? And it made me want to, it caused a chain reaction in my brain into trying to find out, okay, well, if you're this sad, if something were to happen, how do you change it to become positive so that you're as equally happy? You know, the whole yin yang. I mean, you can't have negative without positive. It just doesn't flow. So, um, so that's when I got introduced early in 2019 to the thrill of the chase to a friend of mine, Russ. Um, and then I really had to learn, you know, what words meant. You know, here's another man that was talking about um, life and what life was going to be like, and writing down his stories to pass it on, and made a treasure hunt out of it, and tried to share some secrets that he learned along the way. And it's okay, that's cool. I like this, you know, and so it inspired in me to try to change even better who I was, the things I do, you know. And so it's awesome to hear other people share those kind of stories as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, for nonetheless, I mean, this book is kind of summarizing that journey to know thyself, to know what makes me happy as a person. Uh, you know, all kinds of different journeys and adventures to figure out, you know, is there truth in just being happy? Like my wife says, just be happy. She says, just be happy. Hey, dude, just be happy. Come on. Who doesn't want to just be happy? But it takes more than just your internal self to be happy. You would think that external experiences trigger internal experiences. I mean, it's true you can't have internal experiences without external experiences and still be extremely happy. I mean, that was one of, I think, the points that Forrest Fenn was trying to make when he would really speak about making reverie moments in his mind when he would daydream or whatever, or dream. It's just, he would bring those happy moments to life in his mind, even with a negative situation on the outside, I believe so. So it goes vice versa. Stories are all we are, and you know, I am writing my story. It's coming along very slowly, which I like to say is very, very nice, very nice. Control the flow so that the waters flow right. You know what I mean? And oh, I mean, since there's at least 15 people in here, at the top of this chat, I had pinned the video that people need to share and comment on in order to win that, you know, have a chance to win at a random comment picker on the 14th. This Forrest Fenn Thrill the Chase gold coin. Because, like I said, the Thrill the Chase helped kind of guide me in a better sense, in a better direction in life, and in a spiritual sense. And I say that without the religious because, you know, quantifiable versus unquantifiable, I like the spiritual sense better. Learning the metaphysical and physical. And so if you guys would be so kindly, you know, make a mention, maybe copy that link down next time you're live, throw it up there for your guys' audience, share the word, you know what I mean? Because here's a chance that somebody can have hope in winning, you know, a coin, at least $1 coin. I mean, 14 people get $1. That's $14 right there. Come on, woohoo! You know what I mean? Or they can get this, the 14th winner, they can get this gold coin from the Thrill of the Chase. You know? Because who doesn't love hope? And that's just, for me, another word for God. Or the creation. Because that creation, that hope and creation to inspire in others. You know? And that's kind of part of the Thrill of the Chase for me and Kiwi. You know? And absolutely giving. Or trying to give. If everybody gave more than they needed, then everybody wouldn't need much to give. If that makes any sense. Because it doesn't to me anymore. But that's okay. you do whatever. I mean, winner's a winner. They can do what they want with their winnings. You know what I mean? They'll mail it out to you, and then you do with it what you please. It's yours, you know. And I'll send it in the same package that it came to me. But well, it all depends on who gets picked. it'll be interesting to see who gets it. Is it, and because it makes you wonder, would it be somebody that has gotten one already? Would it be somebody who has gotten some and given them away already? Would it be somebody who hasn't even really heard about the thrill of the chase? I don't know. See, what she's doing now is grooming the precious. So part of PTSD is changing with Kiwi is creating triggers so that her external actions create an internal positive action. So like if I get too excited or anxiety or just that PTSD, I'm trying to train her by keyword calming or something else. I'm saying groom my precious. I let her groom me all day long because it stimulates, the follicles of your hair, and then your brain's triggered to change from whatever you're thinking to there's this sensation happening. And so, that's just another service that, under a service bird, she should be recognized, which she's not. And anybody that stayed long enough to hear this part, it'll be interesting to see if we take the journey on trying to get her into being qualified as a service animal. Hence, she provides services at least 2 or 3 different times. So, but that's a whole nother road to go down. I think it will come out to it because it will be randomly done. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see. As above, so below. The only way to make that happen is if somebody wants to see themselves trying to hold that coin. I would hope that they sit there and make a comment at the very least, and then upload or share the link or video so that other people can make a comment, and then they'll see their name flashing along the thing, and hopefully their name will bing pop up. Yeah, that'd be cool. The question is though, there's not enough outlet on my channel as it's progressing anyway, so it really doesn't matter. You can go as long as it'll take. But if the word gets out there more, I wonder if somebody would want to do the 14th drawing on their channel. You know what I mean? I think that would be a cool idea if somebody wanted to do that. If not, we could do it the old rock, paper, scissors way on here, you know what I mean? Looking all fuzzy and stuff. Oh, my Lanta. This internet sucks in this neighborhood. Everybody around us has like fiber optic cable and stuff, and we got still a phone line. It's ridiculous. I need to make a call to the mayor. Maybe that's what I ought to do. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't got that kind of pull. But anyway, I think with that, we're coming up on an hour, and who doesn't like not being distracted by time or not? This is a time consumer for me. Miner's madness. It just kind of gives me something to do. You know what I mean? And at the very least, maybe it gives somebody else something to look at. And I appreciate everybody that's coming out and supported me, and that's helping me raise that awareness for mental health, and helping to pass on the information in that number for people who, what? Who that? Who there? So Kiwi sees somebody pulled in across the street, and that's our neighbor. So you need to say Josiah. Josiah. Who's that? That's Josiah. You say Josiah? Because that way, I want her to recognize people, and if she recognizes people, she'll say their name. And if she don't recognize people, I want her to alarm me that there's somebody there. The alarm bird. Get me a little clicker. Beep, beep. Come on. Alarm off. No, I'm just kidding. But it would be funny, though. And, yeah. I guess with that, I'll close it with this. Be kind. Let somebody know that you love them, because you know that somebody loves you. Whether you know it or not, you know somebody loves you. And keep calm and treasure on. And until next time, keep it real, yeah? Later, people. Say later, Kiwi. Say later, gator. So, like, later, gator. So, alligator is this. Hey, are you paying attention? We're trying to say later, gator to these people. So, later, gator. Well, eventually I'll hit this button. But I might as well try to teach her to say later, gator now. Since I'm still sitting here so she can understand what later gator is. And she's, excited. She wants to go. She wants to go fly over to her perch. We're going to go on. Go on. Geronimo perch. I'm going to try to do this for Geronimo. Geronimo, and the perch. I haven't looked at the sign language for perch yet. So I still need to do that. And anyway, come on now. Ready? Later, gator. All right, y'all. Love you.